Hi everyone. It's Wednesday. It's time for Let's Talk Content. I know I wasn't there last Wednesday, but because I wasn't feeling well, so we had to cancel at the last moment. And another interesting thing is like if you loved my work, then I must tell you this is the last part of the series. It's the last episode. We'll take a break post that and then we'll come again, hopefully. Let me just see who all have joined and I'll just quickly find our guest for today. I can already see her. Let me just add Aditi. Okay. We're just hoping that Aditi quickly joins the live. 1 second.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. First of all, we were to start at 6 o'clock, but I finally,
Yes.
the time just delayed by busy due.
That's fine. That's all right. So let me introduce Aditi to you guys. I know you already know a lot about her. If you know about Instagram and LinkedIn, you definitely know about Aditi Surana. But just to give a brief about her, she's an internationally recognized high performance coach, behavioral analyst. Not only that, she's a TEDx speaker, podcast host. And beyond that, it's been 2 decades that she's been working with high performers, then business owners. Along with that, she's been working with top level management, where she's been helping them with her signature high performance coaching programs. She's also the founder of App, which is India's first mental gym. We are definitely going to talk about that. And of course, when I mentioned about the podcast host part, I'm a producer. We will be speaking about the podcast as well.
My favorite
Beyond,
too.
yeah, I just love talking about podcasts. So we are definitely going to cover about that. And also, Aditi is an internationally renowned graphologist, creator of a unique coaching method called Grapho coaching. Again, this is super interesting. And another thing, oh, how can I miss that? Not only that, Aditi is also high performance coach for Femina Miss India 2022. Wow. Now I know how why you are a high performance coach. But it because it comes from the experience.
I think so. I think this. I've been lucky enough to have all these opportunities more than anything else.
But so many things. How do you manage to do so many things together?
Actually, it's not that complicated. It's literally like doing one thing at a time and just doing it the way that you feel you have given your best shot. और
Hmm.
करने चीजें इतनी complicated होती नहीं है. All we have to do is like take one thing at a time, just finish it in the best, in that loving manner. फिर हो जाती करते. Hi
I
everyone.
think that is why people join your course and they join you because that's what they learn from
Look,
you. It's not about multitasking all the time.
I don't believe in multitasking. I don't think multitasking even exists. I can't multitask. I'm a dyslexic. So many times I pay attention to one thing and my mind goes all over the place. So just to be able to do one thing with utmost energy, attention requires my whole heart into things, and that's how I got trained into loving things you do and loving them fully because my brain was wired like that. But now when
Right.
I come back and look at things, I just feel it makes more sense because monotasking is way more effective than multitasking because आपका दिमाग चार जगह पे occupied है, ये भी हो रहा है,
Yeah,
वो
true.
कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा.
That is so true. And this is something which I'm trying to adapt and learn. While I cannot multitask, but unfortunately you try and push yourself towards that. And whenever you do, you always fail, is what I figured out.
Because, see, let's look at it, okay? Being a high performance coach, my favorite thing to do is optimize the way our minds function. Now,
Right.
our minds are designed to do, like, our minds are not designed to remember things. Do you know this?
Hmm.
Try to recollect, आज मैं ये करूंगी, वो करूंगी, I'll go here, I'll do this. Then your mind's half of the energy is gone. But if you just start writing things down, and if your mind knows that this is a space where all my to-do things are found,
Yeah.
and focus on this one thing and just deliver it. Second thing and just finish it. Third thing and work on it. it makes your life so much easier than even you can imagine.
So now, because you're everything, whatever you're saying is making so much sense. So I need to speak about the mental gym. We all know what a physical gym is and why we go there because we want to work on our bodies. And when it comes to mental gym, what I understand is that there are certain exercises that leads to mental growth overall and your performance becomes better. But this is what I think about it. You have to tell us what is a mental gym.
So I think what you said is so close to what it is. It's just that I love to do my yoga practices and I also love to do my high intensity weight.
Mhm.
Ridiculous for members. He's saying mental gym app just thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. But the whole idea of mental gym is when I'm training my body, if I keep doing things that are comfortable for me, I will not build new muscle, right?
Mhm.
I will not build new strengths. I can't do my headstand for like more than a minute if I don't train myself. But if I
Mhm.
train myself, then my sustenance will become much longer. So that is what mental gymming is about. You train your mind before it needs it to become so strong that suddenly you realize when people get into the same fight with the same person, they're like, "Arey, gussa nahi aa raha hai," because your mind is trained differently. And
Right.
I'm reacting because your mind functions differently. Sushma is asking what courses do you do?
Yeah, yeah. And this is the second time she's asked.
So,
Sushma, we will definitely respond to that. In fact, Aditi will answer that question. But I have 10 more questions. Let me finish, then we'll get to your questions for sure. Okay. But I also wanted to ask you, how did this idea come to you that you wanted to start a mental gym or you wanted to become a founder of app, a mental gym?
I have been working as a high performance coach for more than 18 years now. And during the
Mm.
pandemic, as a knee jerk reaction, कि हमें लगा हमें भी तो कुछ करना चाहिए सब लोग, everybody is like helping, we should also do it. So as a team, we decided to start two social initiatives. One
Mhm.
was 1 day free anti-anxiety workshop, so that could help people, just
Mhm.
find this in the turbulent times, uncertain times, more than anything. We didn't know what we were
Mhm.
walking into. And second, we said 4 free sessions for every single day of the lockdown. I had no
Mhm.
clue how long the lockdown would go. And the lockdown continued to
Mhm.
go for like
Yeah.
3, 4 months. And every day I showed up, we did more than 384 one-on-one sessions.
Wow.
When I looked back, it was such a difficult experience to
Mhm.
be on the receiving end, talking about the deepest, darkest problem that they have. And every time I looked at it, I felt helpless. And 2021,
Mhm.
people received the highest number of suicidal thought
Yeah.
messages. And when I saw them, I'm like, what can I do so that people
Mhm.
won't? What can I do? And I realized probably I might not be helped. It was a therapy job, a complex, but I reached the stage to get them back. Coach, I teach them how to be mentally fit. तो
Mhm.
डीप लेवल के इमोशंस इतनी एंजाइटी बने ही ना अगर हम
Right.
पे काम कर देंगे तो फिर अगर आप जिम में जाओगे बॉडी हेल्दी रहेगी तो
Mhm.
आपको पड़ेगा तो I had a simplest thought I'm like what if like physical workout for people to work mentally and be so
Right.
that they don't have to suffer after everything is broken down.
That actually makes so much sense. If we work on our emotions, if we work on our situation, our mental health on time, you're right. Like it won't just pile up, and things piling up, it's always bad.
And also, we pile up, also, we do not have a way to solve this problem.
Hmm.
We continuously use the techniques that we have learned either from our family members, like our parents, our chacha, mama, whatever, or
Hmm.
things like the movies or things in the
Hmm.
books. There's our little circle, a quality mechanism. We believe this is the right mechanism. We don't have
Correct.
a way of solving the emotional problem. Have another way of dealing with our stress, and we believe with the stress out, there is no option. But
Right.
there is this whole research, and I always say my larger idea is to contribute to making India mentally fit by
Hmm.
making fitness fun, functional, and fashionable. Because I think if it becomes fashionable, then everybody would talk about it. I'm going to a mental gym because that will be true. Right now, we're like, no, no, I'm going for therapy and Kumar.
Oh yeah, that is correct. There's no taboo attached because
Yeah, no,
suddenly
that's
it's so fashionable.
enjoy the whole idea of like, and they talk about it to their friends and family members. They're like, you must try this session. कितना मजा आता है. And that's my idea. मजा करते करते आप ट्रांसफॉर्म हो जाते हो, आपको पता भी नहीं चलता.
Okay, you're inspiring me to join your classes super soon. With Sushma, I'll also be getting into details of all the courses so that I can also quickly join. Okay, coming back to another aspect of yours, handwriting does all the magic for you
Or
because you,
it is a beginning of it, because I started my career as a graphologist when I was 18 or 17 and a half. So thereby, like, it's my love of my life. Till date,
right.
after like 18 years, I look at a handwriting sample and I blush. I feel कुछ तो है रिश्ता ऐसे जो चलता रहता है. So definitely there is something with handwriting, but quickly in my journey, I realized handwriting can tell me what is going wrong. But
Hmm.
how to fix it requires different tools and methods. So I got trained in what you're reading. There are so many ways in which I got trained just to make sure that different
Hmm.
coaching techniques are given to people when they have different kinds of problems, because we are complex beings, right? We have different kind of things. So
Right.
I use graphology and other behavioral studies extensively when I do one-on-one coaching with
Hmm.
people. But with mental gym, we don't use graphology or any behavioral assessment because it's a gym. It's for everybody.
Right.
Come and play mental workout games to absolutely change and transform things.
Shushma has another question. Shushma, please hold on for some time and we'll definitely reach out to all your questions. And I'm sure I will not let Aditi leave unless she doesn't reply to all your questions. Okay, coming back to we just spoke about you being a graphologist. Now you obviously give them certain changes which people need to adapt, and we all know change is the most difficult thing to adapt for a lot of people. How do you make it easier for them?
Because I feel if you make change drastic, suddenly, अभी
Yes.
इतने सालों से कुछ करे suddenly बंद कर दो, then there is bodies and minds resistance reaction, all of that. But if you make it gradual,
Right.
every day, if you just like do small little workout for your mind to just shift, it just becomes so simple that you don't even realize that the transformation is right. That is a shift that we want, the gradual steady shift. So if any behavior that you want to change, for example, you want to cultivate a habit of waking up early, don't suddenly say, okay, abhi at 8 o'clock I'm going to wake up. If you wake up earlier, you get there 10 minutes earlier. होगा नहीं. आप ये 5 बजे उठने के चक्कर में 2 बार 5 बजे उठोगे और फिर
Yeah, true.
8 o'clock. So if you make gradual changes, the resistance will be lesser. And people who say change is difficult, they don't have a burning desire to change, is what I feel.
Burning desire to change. That's actually a bit heavy, but I can again relate to it. I think I agree with you. When we make small little changes in our lifestyle, it's easier to accept. But when you just say, hey, tomorrow I'm getting up at 5 a.m., I'm going to go run, I'm going to do workout, I'm going to do meditation all in one at once, it'll just happen for a day or two max.
It's impossible. More than anything else, it's impossible for us to do it. We don't have that kind of bandwidth to be able to pull that. So make gradual changes, and every time you want to change anything, ask yourself, why do I want to change it? If your why is very clear, then
Right.
just become, we all do this. अगर घर में कोई बर्थडे पार्टी ऑर्गेनाइज करनी है, आप बताओ आपके घर में आपकी खुद की या किसी बहुत आपके बहन की या भाई की, then you will do everything in your capacity.
Right.
हम कहाँ से आता है? तब आप बैठ के procrastinate नहीं करोगे. You just okay, let me do this and let's get ice from here, and then where does it come from? Because you're genuinely interested
Right.
in do. But if somebody says go and get ice, you're like, why can't you go? Why can't we order? Why can't we done so? You do all this because why is missing. It is a mundane task. When the why is activated, so imagine living every single day, and you're an entrepreneur, you can relate to this. Living every day where you are like every podcast story that you put out, every content piece that you put out actually is making a difference to someone else.
Right.
And that is inspiring enough for you. Nobody can
Right.
stop taking it. But if you
I
lose that connect, then you're like, हाँ हो रहा है, चल रहा है, देखेंगे, all of that.
I think I have all of these days. There are days when I'm like highly charged. Today, so I'll just change the world in this one click of mine. And then there are days when I'm like, okay, ho raha hai, chal raha hai. And then there are days like today, it was a crazy day.
Yeah.
Nothing was working out. Nothing was working out. But all I knew was like, just follow the routine,
Yeah.
deliver. One task at a time. Neeti will figure it out. It'll happen. It'll happen. Don't worry. But yeah, at least we're doing this live. I'm so, so, so happy that I'm closing the entire series with you. And everything is falling in perspective.
So cute.
Okay, so I also wanted you to share a situational example where you have shared a corrective measure with an individual and how it changed that person. Basically, I want to understand like what is the measuring yardstick here? What is the goal that we put and how do we reach there? In a simple language.
Simple language. So we 1 month on the mental gym, we decided to talk about rejection. Everybody
Okay.
fears like we are like, oh, I hope I don't get rejected. I hope I go on stage and people don't laugh at me. Any form of rejection.
Hmm.
So general approach of rejection would be learning techniques of coping with rejection. हमने कहा इसको उल्टा कर. In this month, I asked all the participants to go out there and seek 7 rejections. They're like, what? 7 rejection? Why would I do that? No, no, it is so difficult. I'm like, मैं कहीं नहीं जा रही हूँ. I will not let you move forward. I want 7 rejections. So we gave assignments on that. We did all of that. We did. We have in the
Hmm.
mental buddies. So people are paired with one another. So we gave assignments. So it became buddies' responsibility to get it done. तो फिर अपने आप लोग करने लगे. There's a girl, Aditi. She is a professor in Delhi University.
Hmm.
She applied for PhD for the longest, and she was convinced that what she wanted to present is not up to that mark. So she said, "देखो, ये 3 professors, if I actually apply, वो तो कभी नहीं मानने वाले, but 3 rejection यही के ही हो गए." So just to finish the assignment, she wrote to all 3 of them. To her surprise, one person replied some time saying that, I will get back to you. The topic looks good. These are the points. Another person loved her topic. Third person gave very, very critical feedback on it. So
Wow.
when back, she said, Aditi, I wanted 3 rejections. Now they validated my idea only. Now what? Now rejection is a fearful idea. You are like avoiding for
Hmm.
years. He's like, now I cannot avoid it. I know when I'm ready, I will do it, but I will
Yeah.
not avoid. The fear only disappeared not by learning how to deal with the fear,
Hmm.
but actually turning it on its head and looking at it in a different light.
That's a beautiful compliment, Sandeep. Aditi, you would like to respond to that and then we move forward. All right. Okay, now the next question, I think you're the best person to let us know. We just spoke about change, and there are certain corrective measures which I'm sure you suggest to all your clients and people who reach out to you. As we discussed earlier, also, change is not easy for everyone. So, can you just share a few tips and tricks which someone can apply to make sure that, accepting change becomes easier? And eventually, when they measure their journey, say a 30 days or a 60 days down the line, and they actually see a difference. Small little tips and tricks.
So I have a simple technique. Any time and you're talking about a lot of things that I do, and I sometimes I look back, like इतना कैसे हो गया? मतलब करते करते हो. So I have a simple idea. I'm like, first sit down and ask yourself, what do you want to do?
Mhm.
Most people are not clear with what do they want from this change. So if you change a job, like what
Yes.
exactly do you want in this new job? Or
Mhm.
what is the solution of this we are fighting in a relationship, like okay, if you don't want this, what do you want? So sit down and
Mhm.
ask genuinely what do you want, and keep asking it until you don't get it. Second
Mhm.
question, why do you want? There is always a reason, emotional, deep-rooted reason. So I use this technique of 5 times why. So you ask what once, and 5 times you ask God.
Okay.
So do you want to do this now?
I don't mind.
Okay, let's do it. So tell me something that you would like to resolve.
Okay. So I have this problem. Not that I'm not scared of rejection because I've done sales for like literally 5 years in my life, but I have this problem. I procrastinate when I have to send outreach emails. While I know that every time I've done that, and I don't worry, like out of like 10 out of 10, 9 people don't respond, but I know one person will. But I just keep on procrastinating. I just do it probably once in 2 weeks while I should be doing it at least 4 times in 2 weeks
Okay.
minimum.
So, for our viewers and people who are watching it later, as I walk her through the process, you also think about something that you are,
Yeah.
procrastinating or you would like to. So, what do you want to do here? You're saying you want to send these emails out.
Yes, at least say 25 emails in a week, outreach emails.
Okay, so 25 emails in a week, and you said out of 10, one person will respond. So, in this case, we can expect three people to respond.
Yeah, which is
Okay?
fair. I'm okay with it.
So, we are saying we want three people to respond. Now, this is your what. Okay. Now, first, okay. Why do you want three people to respond?
Because I know that when the conversation will start, eventually it may turn into business.
Okay. So, why do you want that regular business coming into your kitty or your sales cycle?
Well, regular business will give me stability and consistency.
Why does it matter that you have stability in your life?
Stability is something which we all look for, and I would like some stability. Plus, I love my work, and if I'm stable in this one, while I genuinely know that I will be able to make difference, so I
Okay.
would like to be financially stable with this particular business only.
So, if you become financially stable, why do you want to become financially stable?
Because when there are a lot of decisions in life which you are unable to take because you have to think about your finances. So there's a certain goal which all of us have in life. In order to reach that, I need to make investments, and for that, there has to be financial stability.
So, are you saying that having financial stability will make you free? Free to
Make
create,
me
free to create what you want to create? Uh,
perfect.
okay. Fifth time. Why do you value freedom?
Why do I value freedom? This is the most interesting question out of all of these. Because being an individual, I've realized that there's a lot I have to do for myself, and not only for myself. Beyond that, there is certain goals which I've thought in terms of giving back, but a lot of time I'm not able to do it because the first problem that comes in my life is financial stability. Do I have enough for myself? Because I don't know. If I'm okay to be called as a selfish person, but I do believe that charity begins from home. It should be me who should be grounded and stabilized first, and then there are a lot of things which I want to do, which I have a checklist of. Then I'll be able to do that.
Sure. So, why you want to be financially? Why do you want to be free?
Free to do things which I love, which is for myself, for my family, as well as for the society
So,
outside.
do 5 times why while doing this exercise. So, from just sending the email, you actually
Hmm.
reached the point that I can make a difference to other people's lives and be able to be the artist, creator, and entrepreneur that I am if I send out these emails.
You're too good at it.
Uh-huh. So next time you sit and look at, oh, why do I want, if your mind goes all over the place, wait, if I want to make that difference, and
Right,
if making
true.
difference goes through sending these emails, is it really worth it?
Makes so much sense. It is.
Yeah.
I've just forgot the entire terrain of the questions now.
See, मतलब change हो भी गया पता भी नहीं चला. That's the whole idea. You don't make it significant. You just make it so simple that we break it down. We
Hmm.
played a great game, right? We didn't make it like a severe conversation,
Yeah, of course.
but it is not about sending the email. So we have two podcasts.
Hmm.
One, renamed today to the Aditi Surana show for the first time. So we have the episode going out in the evening, and another one is called Daily Mental Fit.
Daily, yes.
So Daily Mental Fitbit is a 3 minute episode every single day. And I must tell you that just to be able to do this podcast and just to show up and think about everyday newer stories and
Right, right.
if it is 3 minutes is writing and it's showing up and it's observing and it has transformed my life. So when people turn back and tell me that one episode I heard like 20 times because there was this one example resonated with me so much, next time when I'm doing this episode, I remember that that person heard it 20 times. And that why of making a difference becomes so activated कि कभी कभी रात को 11 बजे बहुत थक गए हैं कि भाई अभी और रिकॉर्डिंग करना
Right.
पड़ेगा क्योंकि वक्त नहीं मिला जो भी है तो you're like no that person must be waiting tomorrow 7 o'clock to start their day with the podcast and it's my job to make sure that I do it.
That is. If that explains what I'm feeling.
My point is this, okay? If you require reminders, बहुत पहले से ना मैंने वैसे वो मेरे ट्रेनर्स बताते थे वो कोचिंग के फील्ड में कि ऐसे this you should remember your goals and they should always be the picture should remind you of. And I thought about it. I felt if my goals or my dreams or my things, the difference that I want to make is not strong enough, then I require reminders. But if it is
Right.
strong, it's genuinely I'm living it every single day, you don't require reminders. So pick an idea, pick that fifth why so strong that every single action that you take in the business and being an entrepreneur, you've reached event venues, और सब कचरा है, सब धूल मिट्टी है, and carrying your outfit that you're gonna go and like coach and whatever, but you're like wait, झाड़ू कौन लगाएगा? कोई है नहीं. So we would take झाड़ू, पोछा, and we have done that as a team. All of us have done it, and the point is not that every single experience that you add there, that
Right.
is changed when the person walks into the room, is worth all the efforts.
No,
So
that
the
is true.
to realize that as every action will lead to the final result, I think all efforts become absolutely acceptable, and then you don't think ये मैं करूँगी, ये मैं नहीं करूँगी. You're like that final result is what I'm trying to achieve, and I will do whatever it takes because my job is to serve that larger idea.
That is so true, and it makes so much sense now because now my outreach emails are connected with doing good, which I already have in my head.
Exactly.
I'm just going to connect that, and that is what is going to put me like, एक और email I can send. One more, Neeti, just one more.
And somebody told me this beautifully. Like, you don't know whose connection would change, whose life would change, who would get impacted by it. So that fifth email might be the point. So if you set
Right.
out to do something and if you just leave it halfway, sometimes you're like, हाँ क्या ही फर्क पड़ता है. फर्क तो तब पड़ता है ना कि छठे इंसान को जो ईमेल मिलने वाला था जिसको आप कनेक्ट करने वाले थे वो रह गया.
Right.
Right? So you cannot get it perfect. All you can do is give your 100% shot. But जो भी कर रहे हो वो इतने दिल से करना चाहिए ऐसे मुझे लगता है कि वो करने में ही मजा आए. उसके बाद रिजल्ट आए अरे वाह वेरी गुड वेरी गुड.
Brilliant. Now you've already touched upon my favorite topic, that is podcast. I also wanted to understand why did you choose podcasting to put out your content?
So, three reasons. In 2006, I used to do a radio show. And when you hear somebody's voice, and until I get goosebumps even now, when you hear someone's voice and you can't see their face, it's like reading a book. Your mind is open to imagine anything about the person. And you're like, oh my, that is not the real. Like, the very moment you see my face, you know who I am and how I might
Yeah,
be.
true.
You'll get a better picture of it. But if you only hear my voice, you spend time imagining who this person could be. And I find that idea extremely romantic. So that is my first reason why audio platform worked for me. Second reason is when I do high performance coaching sessions, the session is not what I say or what the person asks. The session is always like a dance. It's like a performance. Now, we didn't plan that I would ask you this what and why question. Right?
Of
We just
course. Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
situation we just did this whole what and why and that beauty and everybody who witnessed it on live they just realized oh my god that's so simple. Now there were countless moments in my coaching sessions when I'm like अरे ये ना record होना चाहिए किसी ने सुनना चाहिए लोगों को कितना ये record हो जाएगा. So that's how the podcast began when we started recording the coaching. So it's a half interview, half coaching session because I genuinely feel in that this dancing between two people,
Right.
back and forth, something magical beyond your limitations happens, and the spontaneity is beautiful. Third reason to do podcasting as an audio platform, I felt the leaders and high performers I speak with are really, really amazing people and they're extremely successful. And the
Right.
idea is we ask them vulnerable questions or they ask me difficult questions. And when I am presenting that, unknowingly, I'm telling people that it is okay to have questions even if you are very successful. It is okay to have broken things. It is okay for things not to work. So अगर हम कितना भी बोले it's okay तो लोग कहते हैं नहीं ऐसे कैसे okay हमें तो successful बनना है. But when you show that even in spite of being successful there
Yeah.
are still vulnerable, the whole game changes.
That I agree because I think vulnerability is something that actually relates a human to another human. Otherwise, we're just robots. We just, there are tasks which are assigned for us and we just do it one after the other. But there's no connection.
Haruki Murakami is a Japanese author, one of my favorite authors. He says, when you open your heart, something extremely powerful happens. All of us. But we don't open our hearts and we just like hold it. We're thinking that, oh, other people may
Yeah.
see problem. But the podcast is a platform because it's such a intimate, because not like my video sometimes it's not, but it's an intimate conversation that people open their hearts. And when two people do that between me and the guest, something so powerful happens that all of us feel the waves going outwards. I love that.
So, people, I didn't say it. Aditi said, why is it important to have your podcast out there?
If you are a professional who believe in what you're doing and how you would like to present it, or even tell people what all
Right.
is possible with it, please start a podcast. It's such a simple thing to do. It is like, we make it complicated. Even if you do
It's
10
very
episodes,
easy to do.
even if you do 10 episodes, don't do like we have done 450 episodes and we have signed up for this larger idea. But even if you don't want to do it, you want to make a simple episode, 10 episode series. कर लो एक बार देखो क्या होता है. Just nothing to lose. Literally, that whole creative experience will only enrich your life.
That is so true. Now, this also takes me to the point when we also discussed about my podcast. Let me tell you, I'm working on it. Just putting it out there, and you'll be the first person to know.
Have you decided a name?
No, we're just discussing the content. There are two concepts which we have in mind because the problem, again, you can call it procrastination. It's also that when you know something about the industry, you just double check everything. You just want it to be
You
perfect.
can afford to do it.
Yeah?
Okay. You can do it when you can afford to do it, which means if perfectionism is about me being perfect,
Right.
right? But when you create that podcast and you create that impact in other person's life, then it is not about you. You have already gone beyond you.
Mhm.
So when you are thinking कि मेरा podcast सही होना चाहिए, then you will be all perfection. When you say the
Hmm.
podcast, reach out to that one listener who will transform or who will improve or who will grow. तो फिर वो podcast for listener का होगा. Then you will work so that the listener will have an impact and not because you are really really good.
That is a brilliant thought again. This is, see, the point is it's easier when I talk about all these things to my client. It just becomes a bit difficult to apply because then you feel like for me, there is no scope of failing.
But
Because,
if you don't lead by example, it will be very fake. Like as a coach, if I do my mental workout, there's a stroke called Kam Sutra stroke. So I do it
hmm,
every day. And 3 days I did not do it. So when I did it the fourth day, I made a story that I missed 3 days. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to every day try and cover up
hmm,
one page. But because that's how it is. Discipline is not about getting it right all the time. Discipline is about going off the track but choosing to come back on track. Leadership in your field is not about making it perfect. It's about doing it and failing and still continue to be that.
yeah,
The founder of WYN, the
wine, wine
podcasting network,
studios,
Wine
wine
Studios.
studio.
Yes, Wine Studios. He was our guest on the podcast, and he said something so powerful. He said, "My initial podcast, I struggled to speak English correctly, or like it
That is
wasn't."
true.
And he said, I kept those podcasts because I wanted people to see where I began and how far I have. And I thought that was incredibly endearing because that's what we want. We want people to carry their experiences on their shoulders and talk about it. Otherwise, kya fake zindagi.
I I've been working in this industry for like 10, 14 years now. So it's not you don't know the industry. I've been in front of the microphone as well for like 6 years straight. Of course, it wasn't in the form of podcast. It was live. I was a radio jockey. That's how I started.
Even more difficult.
Yeah, that's how I started. And I worked for a US radio station as well. So, like, I've worked around it. I understand the game. It's just that it's not like the fear of not getting it right. It's more like the content. Like, this should be the content, and this should be the content, and stuff like that. And then you just hide it saying, hey, I have 10 clients right now. Shouldn't my energy going there
Yeah,
instead of creating your own thing?
mind
That's the thing.
plays. These are games minds play to just make sure
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
we put stop to it and we train our minds to be stronger than what it is. And say, wait, pause. Why are you like just giving all of this?
Mhm.
We only have to get to a point where we start resolving the problem.
That is correct. Coming back to podcasting again in a different way now. Being okay, let's just put it like your reels, which I love. Obviously, I've already messaged you a couple of times that I love your reels. How and why do you think that content creation is so important for a brand like yours?
I feel because my larger idea is to make mental fitness fun, functional and fashionable, and that's my
Mhm.
idea. I believe in it. So if I want to make it fun, I can't talk about it. I show it. If I want to make it functional, I give a tool that people can try. And so there's a tool that I made a reel on that whatever you want to change in your mind, just make a phone screensaver out of it. It's such a small thing, but you look at the screensaver 5,000 times a day, and automatically your brain would start getting programmed like that. And how amazing that would be. But that small little tool just shifted the way we look at it. Because that's a second like tool, so fun, functional part. And fashionable, I feel if we do not carry ourselves in the best possible fun, Bollywood, all of that element, then how would people know that it need not be what it is otherwise? So you just
Right.
if you do something, just showcase it. And I think it's the simplest way to invite people to
Mhm.
join the party.
So basically, content becomes your party.
It is, and it is also the invitation. So it's not like okay, we don't do sales pitches. We just like talk about what happens
Mhm.
in the session and how I look at it, and that by itself is strong enough for people to choose. And I think what could be better than a little sampler of a cake that you want to buy?
That's nice. So, do you consider yourself a content creator now?
I think I have become a content creator and I love being a content creator. I think it has given me a different kind of voice. And when I script my little reels and
Mm.
when with my brilliant team members and we have editing, those variations, everything is so romantic.
Nice. Now that you've considered, you agree. I already knew that you're a content creator, but a lot of people they just feel hesitant accepting it while they're putting out brilliant content out there. So now that you're part of this economy, what do you have to say? Like, where is India's creator economy going forward? And how do you think brands like you can leverage that economy in their favor?
So where the economy is going places. Like there is no end to it. हमें लोगों के बारे में बात करना ऑलरेडी बहुत पसंद है. हमें गॉसिप करना हम बॉलीवुड हमें भरा भरा है. तो देयर इज नो वे ड्रामा एक्शन म्यूजिक इसकी किसी की कमी नहीं है. तो हमारी कंटेंट इंडस्ट्री इंडिया की तो बहुत ही बढ़ने वाली है. नाउ हाउ डू आई सी you decide what you say. I feel
Yeah.
back when we had one or few channels to showcase our work, and only when TV accepted you and media accepted you and you had a radio show, so you had to convince a few people to before you could find your own voice or create your niche. Today, thankfully, there is no limitation like this.
Yeah.
That freedom by itself, and in last 2 years of being a content creator, I changed my way of creating content at least. Who gives you choices like that? नहीं तो पहले जमाने में अगर होता तो एक शो होता, फिर वो होने में ही बहुत वक्त लग जाता, और जब
Yeah.
हो भी तो पता था अभी अभी दूसरा क्या करें. 10 times I have done variations, and every time we make these changes is absolutely simple. Thank you.
Uh,
I know my sister and I both become very entertaining when we are kept together next to one another.
All right. Also, I wanted to understand, like you speak to business leaders, you speak to influential people, you speak to celebrities also, and help them with their performance. Do you, how do you, and every person has to go through anxiety, irrespective of what your designation is or who you are. How do you deal with your anxiety?
Before I answer that question, I have a hard stop in 5 minutes. I have to start a session at 7
Yeah.
o'clock. So, anxiety per se, I feel, is not understood properly. I feel anxiety in some parts is a good thing. You know, stress
Mm.
is a, because we all require, when we walk into something uncomfortable, we all feel it.
Right.
All stress is not bad. So, fundamental first stage, we have to understand all stress is not bad. The very moment you understand it and you say, okay, wait, then which are these are not good?
Mm.
Which these are not helpful? Now, when you start looking, when you turn back and say which are not good, then you will realize things where you feel helpless, things where you don't have the skill set, things where you don't have the tools to deal with anxiety are where you feel lost. And कोई भी इंसान हो, सीईओ हो या फिर हमारे घर का वॉचमैन हो या हमारे हाउस हेल्प हो, एंजाइटी सबकी सेम ही होती है. हमारे औहदे से हमारे एजुकेशन से कोई चेंज नहीं होती है और होनी भी नहीं चाहिए. Because what you fear in anxiety is that loss of control, and loss of control has nothing to do with how much you have. It's about how much loss of control you feel over what you have.
Yeah.
It's a universal feeling, and thereby the solutions are similar. एक बार एंजाइटी हो गई तो हम सभी को लगता है कि हमारी लाइफ हाथ से छूट गई. वे ना छूटे इसके लिए we have to change and alter something, and these are the mental workouts that we do. One of my favorite things to do, I'm just looking for a paper and pen, is this little stroke of handwriting that I you might have seen me do a lot.
Kam Sutra.
Yes, it's called the Kam Sutra S stroke. It looks somewhat like this. And the idea of the stroke, and there's a link that we use, is my name, aditisurana.com/Calm Sutra. CALM, Calm Sutra. And just check it out. We teach this particular stroke very carefully, because when you practice something like this with your body, your mind starts calming down. It is breath regulated physical movement. I also call it handwriting yoga, because it's like you how you has body and mind. It's handwriting with body and mind. So check it out. This is a simple technique that doesn't demand an analysis, which most of the time people can't do on their own, but it induces calmness, and then your mind starts following the same rhythm. We had more than 22,000 people who have tried it in the last 2 years. So I'm extremely confident that if you try it, it will work for you also.
On it. On it with Sushma. Let's just quickly reply Sushma's question. What all courses do you do, Aditi?
Only one course per se, which is a mental gym. The website is APT, which is Aspire, Form and Transform. So aptmentalgym.com. So do check out that website. Other than that, I do one-on-one sessions. I do teach graphology, but I haven't taught in last like 6 months because I just don't have time. But yeah, Rashi, my colleague, is mentioning the
Yeah,
link.
yeah.
.com.
Rashi, you're on point. Shout out to you.
She's always on point. Unbelievable. Just like she knows what's happening. And the whatever it is, and the courses I do one-on-one coaching for corporate leaders and people. We're slightly selective there because it's a very intense process. So that's something that we do it only if there's certain criteria. But mental gym is open for everybody. Please check it out. If you want to up your game, if you want to be a high performer and convert your mindset, that's the space to walk.
So with that, people, let's up our game by joining Aditi's course, her mental gym. I'm sure अब भी बहुत जल्द you're gonna get a new member. Here's the new member coming
But
in right
oh,
away.
aboard!
And I'm sure there'll be others who've just been there on this live. I'm sure they'll also be joining. While I would have taken your questions, but as Aditi said, there's a hard stop at 7. It's already 7. But please drop your questions for Aditi. We will make sure we'll at least request her to reply. And she's already very sweet. You guys have already seen. She will definitely reply, I'm sure. On that note, thank you so much, Aditi. I'm so happy that I'm closing the entire series with you.
No,
One
not
another push on my podcast journey as well. Thank you
yeah.
so much for that.
Waiting for your podcast to come out. Send me as soon as you release. You have to send me the link
Done deal, done deal.
from on Instagram.
Yeah, I am working on it. It's just that, you give yourself, abhi to iska bhi hai, uska bhi hai. That's the whole drama I do. But there's a content plan in place.
Done. So thank you so much, everyone. I will see you soon, and all the best.
Thank you so much for your time, guys. Thank you so much, Aditi. With that, bye bye. See you all super soon, maybe in the form of a podcast. Bye.